Welcome to Mindfully with Tumishe, the podcast that invites you to explore mental health with honesty, compassion, and openness. Each week, your host, Tumishe Oladapokuku, shares personal stories and stories from people like you. Together, we'll confront mental health myths and build a space where imperfection isn't feared but embraced. From self-esteem struggles to relational conflicts, we're here to discuss it all, with guidance from experts and real raw stories that inspire healing. It's time to live mindfully. It's time to be compassionate with ourselves and each other. Mindfully with Tumishe, new episodes every week, available wherever you listen to podcasts or at blackimages.com.
Hey, mindful partners, how are you? I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're still, basking in the. I hope euphoria, and understanding that came with the last 4 episodes that were extremely, in my opinion, very reflective. And to be honest, I also got back feedback saying how reflective they were. Talked about evolution using the inoki and butterfly story. We talked about fear. We talked about grief. And of course, last week I shared my last week I did share my thoughts on fear, right, and adversity. So that 4 weeks of solo run ends today. Don't worry. Of course, when I have what's it called now? Run of solos on Mindfully Tumishe, I always love to come back with one of my favorites. Bodola. Hi.
Hello.
You like hearing your voice, we know.
I'm going to change my voice. It sounds so nice. It's good to be back.
It's good to see you with hair.
That's one area I'm confused.
You're confused? Why are you confused about that?
To keep it or to leave it off. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right. Today, I think we left off at the beginning of the year, sometime in the year, about talking about emotions and being, labeling emotions appropriately and all of that. And I don't know if this is an emotion or this is a concept. We're talking shame. Now, before we talk or have a conversation around shame, here is a caveat between Ola and I, or from Ola and I. We are no Brainy Brown, who has dedicated over 2 decades into sharing and researching shame and vulnerability. Right? But what we're trying to do today is to break it down as much as we can, especially for those who've not heard of Brené Brown or who is going to be introduced to Brené Brown from here. And if you ask me what shame is, to be honest, until I started reading Brené Brown, I did not think I had shame. Do you understand? I didn't see until she started bringing out researches and upon researches and talking vulnerability, talking guilt, and trying to differentiate between guilt and shame. Yeah. Then I said, okay, so we should take a step back and and let's feel it. And certain things came up for me before I bring you on to talk about your side of shame. Yeah. when I think no, I know the first book of hers I read was The Power of Vulnerability, and what came out for me was that shame was that silence that lives in our bones, not necessarily in your heart. Your bones feel like, the silence that speaks yet is asking for peace. There were, at the time, there were a million questions in my head, and after listening, because I've not seen the book, I listened to The Power of Vulnerability. That's what I felt. That is what I felt was shame. The silence that was birthed from the plethora of my stories while I continued to show up. The silence in my head that I couldn't communicate to anyone, not because I felt the guilt of whatever anybody had done to me, but because I couldn't label or articulate properly the feelings and emotions that came up for me, and I needed to wear a guard. That was what came up for me. So yeah, I started with John.
Because you always bring I think it's because of what you've been through. You bring a perspective that I like to listen to. Because when you said we should talk about shame, that's when I said I don't know anything about shame. Not that I don't know about shame, but in terms of the felt experience, I can't say I have a knowledge. Not that I haven't felt shame, but in terms of how it has caused people to wither, I'm not sure I've experienced it at that depth. Right. And this was because I was just thinking about what exactly is shame really in the light of the world that we live. What exactly is shame? What does it look like? How the society wants to shame politicians. I don't even think you can shame people. I think people feel the shame. You can try to put guilt, present guilt to them, but shame is from the inside. You can't, that's why you can't shame a shameless man. Shame comes from a lot of things, a lot of things going on in your mind, a lot of emotions not processed with things that have happened to you, and you just can't resolve. Like you said, it's that silence, that place of you don't even know whether it's a why you want to ask or a what. It's just a whole lot that you're unable to process. But what we do as a society is try to shame people overtly or covertly. Overtly is when, like I said, they try to shame single people. Why are you not married? All those questions. And it used to sound like people being genuinely interested.
That they cared.
That they care. But if you really weigh what part of are you not getting married is care? Because when you think that this person wants to be married and hasn't yet gotten to that place of marriage, they're already dealing with a lot. What do you do? What exactly is the point of that
question?
Or
that questioning. So you see, this is where I said earlier that I didn't think I had shame. Because to Michelle, you're this, oh yeah, and so to Michelle, you dance a lot, oh yeah, and so I lived in that authenticity. So no one could, when I was growing up, no one could say, oh, to Michelle, you're too quiet, and it will bother me, or to Michelle, you're not you're not business savvy. Well, it doesn't bother me. I don't know it. Do you get? And because I don't know it, I have friends around me. Like I have a friend, Diana. Diana will say, "Tumche, you can't tell me you don't know about you don't know numbers," because when she does sit me down and we're talking about how to navigate certain businesses, and she's like, "How can you say you don't have business sense?" You get? So those kind of things don't bother me, and when maybe that's why I said, I don't, in that sense, I don't feel shame. You see me in my car alone, and I'm playing music. Number one is loud. Number two, I'm dancing by myself. I'm running in the estate in the morning. I finish my run. I will do about 10 minutes dance, just walking around. It really does not bother me what perception that would lead to shame. That one is. But when, again, going back to Brené said in The Power of Vulnerability that shame is I am bad. Guilt is I did something bad and I can change it. That was when I said, okay, I have shame. Because up until that time, the feeling of inadequacy, the feeling of, mostly inadequacy, I felt like I didn't, or I was inadequate. Then I also felt like I didn't fit in, and I didn't belong anywhere. So, that shame I had for a long time.
Yeah,
because shaming the single, shaming.
Yeah, but
shaming
again,
fat people.
you know why?
Shame-
You know
In
why?
our
You know why I say this is because I'm also complicit because maybe not in that way, but I love to read. And when people say they don't read, how can you say you don't read? Right? And you know what that does is to some people it makes them feel bad. Right? And if they find enough people saying that to them, it becomes I'm bad. It's no longer I'm bad at reading. It becomes I'm bad. And I think that's where it moves from guilt because people can't shame you. It has to be you personifying yourself.
How they have said what they have said
with who you are, and that's when it becomes shame. It's the same thing when I say that's covertly we do it to people that are pregnant, who've been married and not pregnant, have not had children. Along with things that we Yoruba people do, like like okay.
What if I want to be
like? So what's the point of that? Because I can't tell if you're being genuinely honest and prayerful on my behalf, or you're just being sarcastic. Or your words can be very sarcastic. We have all manners of doing it,
and we have
do it.
we do it.
Yeah, so I just began to look at okay. So when you say you want to shame politicians to make them change their ways, there's a place for accountability that you want them to get to. Shame doesn't allow that. Because shame holds you back from anything that wants to expose that side of you. It holds you back. So how then do we want to shame children? And I don't know. These days I'm a sharp advocate for a lot of things that really are not my business. But I just feel that people don't know. Like people
and you have said that like a million times today.
I don't, like I said, I don't know myself, but the little that I know, I want to ensure that people who don't know as much as I do can share the knowledge that I have, sharing the information that I have. If this thing that we do to children, right? You say that of your child. What
For those who don't
happens?
understand, this child is recalcitrant.
English doesn't do it justice.
I like Boro. Let me transliterate it. I like Boro, a child that does not listen.
Yeah, you do that over and over and over again. That child now begins to be
fulfill the prophecy.
and then it becomes a self, and then you want to shame that
it
child.
becomes a parent fulfilled prophecy.
Yeah, and then you want to shame that child for not listening. So it's me now saying we don't know a lot of things as human beings that we should know, because we're very I have all the knowledge. I don't need more information, except it's going to profit me one way or the other. I don't think we seek knowledge for the sake
of seeking knowledge.
Seeking knowledge. If it doesn't profit us one way or the other, we abscond from it. So it's for me to say, I have this. How can I help people around me? How can I help myself? Because I am, like I said to you this morning, it's not like I don't think. I am not business savvy. I don't know if it's a problem for people. I'm realizing at my age that it's a problem for me. Because why can't I sit with an idea that is a great idea that I have and be able to turn it into a stream of income? Why can't I do that in ways that I see my friends?
Because it's not your makeup.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just because I am.
You were not conditioned to.
Exactly.
You were not conditioned to think that, you could be entrepreneur.
Exactly. Because this is what I say. I watch people whose parents were market people. Not necessarily rich market people. People who sell wusi, all these things. Yeah, you're doing translation.
It's good. It's good that no, I wanted you to land on that, and I would use a personal experience.
Right.
All right, just go ahead.
And I see how.
Sometimes clarity comes in silence. Other times it takes a gentle nudge, a conversation, a question, or a pause you didn't know you needed. That's what BHM coaching at Black Images offers. Not a fix, not a formula, but a space. One where your story is safe and your growth doesn't have to look like anyone else's. You can begin with a free discovery session. Just 30 minutes to breathe, reflect, and maybe, if you're up for it, sit with guided meditation. If life feels loud and you need support now, there's mindful coaching on the go. Short, focused check-ins that help you stay grounded when things feel shaky. For deeper shifts, there's the Journey to Being, a mindful exploration shaped by the framework from the book Living Mindfully, A Journey to Being. This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. And if you're someone who needs steady hands over time, the monthly and community plans are there, offering consistent support that grows with you. Visit blackimages.com when you're ready, not to be fixed, but to be seen.
The ones that I know end up being able to do business.
Okay, this is where nature nurture. The nature nurture thing. And I'm using myself.
Right.
Yeah. Myself and my mother. I grew up seeing my mother, the most industrious human being ever. In my life, she touches anything like this, it will become a stream of income. She had poetry. She had a poetry. She had wusi. Retail. She had a retail store, right? And all her retail store, even in the studio, that small place you see out there, right. It was a retail store. She did it all the time. She would knit and sell. She would do this. She did everything. I saw her do it. Guess what? I can't. I have tried, and this is I have tried my hand in business, but the good thing, because I knew I couldn't, the people around me, there's a lady I know, she can sell your head to you, collect change, and give you, and give you your check. So I in quotes, I don't want to say invest, but that's the word. I invested in that particular business, which was or sportswear business, and
You
what
profit from it.
see what I had these things with me, and I was putting on my status and doing all the marketing. I had marketing. I did everything marketing people say you should do, and I couldn't sell them in a year. Like I could maybe friends like pity me and say, oh, and do you understand? And this lady took it in 2 weeks, and they were all gone.
But I hear you.
I'm going somewhere. My daughter saw my mom for the first night. Was with my mom for the first 9 years of her life. My daughter, we sell your head to you and give it to you if she puts her mind to it. Like it comes easy to her. Like she started beading at 3-4. She started beating at 3-4. The same woman that raised me is one. Do you understand? My brothers and I were not, apart from my baby brother who was very active in my mother's life. My late brother and I were very, like, my mother would put us in the store, in our shop. And I can assure you, we will not only give wrong change, we will see someone who is in need. Myself and Yoruba will call the person in and give the person soda and all that. So I that's why I use the term, because it's not in your makeup and we're not conditioned. Because I was conditioned by my mom. I actually was domesticated by my mom to do that, but there was always fight. She punished me for not, because till now I cannot carry a chicken. And mom, do you get? So yeah.
Again, I hear you. And I know that we, as human beings, we have different builds, right? But when it comes to that area, when I say being able to be business, I mean, does it mean that I have to necessarily sell? Right? I don't think I have the predisposition to sell. I don't think I do. But does it mean that I can't be business savvy? I don't think so. I think that there's, so when I'm looking at it in the holistic sense of, there must be things that do I necessarily need to okay, for example,
don't worry, guys. We're still talking shit. We'll come back to
there's
it.
this guy who, what's his name, started with a blog. I think it's this guy. This starts with Y guy. I don't know. And no, it's the marketing guru guy. What's his name? I remember his name. And he started with just a blog. And because of his blog grew over the years to the extent that I think they say he reaches about 50,000 or 100,000 something every day, right? So money comes in through that. He's not selling anything. I'm just saying it's that power to be able to make wealth.
So is it okay for me to say that you're shaming yourself now for not being business savvy?
So yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to. That there's somewhere at the back of it that you realize that it's not what people do to you. It's what over the years you begin to tell yourself that now becomes something you've internalized. I'm bad at this. I'm bad at this. Becomes I'm bad. It's no longer bad at this, right? It becomes I'm bad. So now I'm in that stage of this can be my story.
This can be my identity.
It can be my exactly. And so it's moving away from what guilt does to us through shame, right? Because at the end of the day, if it was if profit was not an issue, I would not shame myself that I'm not business savvy.
So, yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
So if I can move from there to a place where I am able to reverse that, then it's and I think that's how we should deal with the issue of shame, rather than trying to and so you know why I said so I came to that place because I was talking about accountability. So when you're able to hold yourself accountable to something, that shame will naturally dissipate, because you now begin to find ways to You deal with it at the root. I don't believe in dealing with stuff at the branches.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get to the roots, but I'm looking at, because this was the definition that changed my. I'm not saying I'm better at this kind of shame thing. No, I'm better, but I'm probably just 40% to 50% better. And she defines shame as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed, therefore unworthy of love and belonging. I am bad. I am a mess. The focus is on self, not behavior, with the result that we feel alone. Shame is never known to lead us toward positive change. Of course, it thrives in secrecy, silence, and judgment.
Right.
So, is it possible for us to differentiate between shame and embarrassment?
What's embarrassment? I think
I can quickly do a Google search. Because I don't know what embarrassment is.
I think that they are close relations. I think shame is. I think embarrassment is the grandfather of shame.
Well, Google says embarrassment is a feeling of self-consciousness, shame, or awkwardness, typically triggered by awkward or humiliating social situations.
Right. That's too much English.
I think what that simply means that embarrassment is felt more in social situations, and it's a feeling as against personalizing, as against an identity. Yeah, you got it. It's a feeling that, you fell down in the front of people now.
That's what grows into shame.
That's what grows. If you constantly fall down in front of people, you then begin to question.
I can't
walk
well. I can't go out in public. That's what it becomes. That's what it becomes.
See, as we just reach Rema at the same time. See, as we just reach Rema. Oh my goodness.
But it's that's why I say that I don't know anything, because if you come to such conversations with that, I know, I'm not sure what you'll take out of it. Now I'm even more certain that holding myself to a level of accountability in the sense that you can do this. This doesn't have to be the story of your life. Right. Maybe to a particular stage it has been the story. Because like I say, we see people who they don't have half the information, half the knowledge, or half the brains that
you think you have.
Everything you have, and they're doing things.
And you don't look at yourself.
I'm like, okay.
Let me tell you one of the things I say. When my family is watching TV, for example, or I feel like I've watched TV for too long, and I feel I'm unapologetic about what I want to say right now, or when I'm watching a film, I literally will just pick the remote, turn the TV off, and say to my family, "Well, they're making their money. Me, I'm here wanting to sleep." And I literally just shut. And that single statement can send me into a downward spiral if I'm not careful, and I will not touch the TV remote for another 4 weeks, just because I feel that I'm not doing enough to the capacity of what I believe I could do. So yeah, let's talk about origins sort of for a bit. What's your earliest, if you feel shame, that is, what's your earliest memory of shame? It's not that deep.
It is. I just finished writing another book. And the title is...
Yes, let me shame you. What have you done with My Mother's Voice?
So I'm trying to get an editor. I've given it to someone. but I'm going to talk to him again today. I need
Okay.
to.
So you can
Yeah.
talk about the second book now.
The title is Beyond Being Loved.
Life moves fast, sometimes too fast. If you're looking to slow down and reconnect with yourself, Living Mindfully, A Journey to Being by Oluwatomise Oladapo Kuku might be what you need. It's part memoir, part guide, an honest, deeply personal story about navigating life's noise with intention. Oluwatomise shares lessons from her own journey through struggle, reflection, and healing, with a voice that's equal parts vulnerable and wise.
It felt like she was speaking directly to me, raw, real, and quietly powerful.
Get your copy wherever books are sold or visit blackimages.com to begin your journey. Living Mindfully, A Journey to Being. Slow down, breathe, begin.
And it's
I can hear a million and one things in my head, but let's go.
and it was in this writing that a lot of things that I didn't think had anything to do with my life began to surface. I'll just give one. And I cried when that, because I think I'd done with that
You're
chapter.
done. You're done. Yeah,
That
you're
chapter.
done that inner work.
You know they do. You know they done. And this is the story. When I was younger, and I see it now in my adulthood, the areas of my life that, and I'm grateful to God for bringing them up for me to deal with. So when I tend to upset my mom, it's my mom, 'cause I look back and I really remember my mom having that first conversation with me. Really. It would be that she has a very great friend. They've been friends for,
I'm sure anybody who's listening to this should know that friend.
friends for about 60 years plus. Yeah, 6 years plus now. And even those days where there was no mobile phones, right? Once you see her come in the morning on her way to work, that's how early she would come into the house. It would be that she wants to get me, right, to
Do something your mother wanted to
apologize
get.
or something for something that I had done that nobody had tried to talk to me about, that I didn't think it. Growing up, it would just say last, you do stronger. They'll say, oh yeah, so mommy, my great mama, you do all that, and then you say, okay, yeah, prostrate for your mommy and your daddy, and then and that was my experience growing up to a large part, until when, of course, nobody's care anymore. Like now, if you give me, you collect. Everybody's collecting, right? But I didn't know how much this was stored in my body, right? Until I began to examine how much it impacted my communication with my mother, because it meant that she couldn't have hard conversations with me. She would leave that conversation to somebody else. Unfortunately, my mom's friend only has daughters, right? So how they expected that between themselves, you have 3 sons, she has 4 daughters, and how you expect that she would understand
how to
communicate with was, and I'm just realizing that. So I'm now learning to give grace, but I'm looking at all this and I'm like, oh my goodness, that was not how those issues should have been handled. It was, for me, it was the guilt that was turned into shame. It was you do this regularly. You do this, and I have to come and talk to you every single time. And it has become, this is who you are.
All right. So for me, I would think, I said earlier that so I didn't feel shame that way, but I'll think that because the first time I saw on my report card, she's intelligent, but she's playful. She's intelligent, but she laughs a lot. I can hear somebody say, what that did to me was I shut down. So I just shut down. Like I just shut down. Because when I took that result home, of course it was my result. So I was constantly just above average. Just above, because then I'll get home, I'll be beating. And I was just above, and then there was this term they had beaten me. It was not because they had beaten, it was the term that they didn't beat me. It was the gem, and even mathematics, I got 98. And that's what my mother is. Guess what? She beats me again. Like, hey, shit, so I think for me, that just shut me down. I was like, no, if nobody's going to take time to understand me, it's okay. I'll just be. So I don't know. So it was then getting to study shame or to understand shame through Brené's eyes, and I said, "Oh, okay, this is what's going on," and all that. So and this particular one, try to bottom line, because I know this question I want to ask. How do you think cultural and religious expectations reinforce shame? Again, bottom line.
I shared something. I'll share with you. I shared something with a friend who is in that area of pastoral. Because what I wrote, even me, I'm still skeptical about releasing it to the public. How people who carry influence in the area of the religion.
Spirit and I'm sorry. Apology. I withdraw my statement.
Yeah, I'm very careful when I use spiritual. Yeah, but they can be spiritual, but in the area of religion, carry influence that they don't wield properly, carefully. And they say things, and so this is what this that led to this was talking about Samuel and
Eli
and how
Eli. Go ahead, yeah.
And how if he was this present time, they would have said Samuel
was rude,
was traumatized, or suffered trauma. And in all of the things that he had said, that was fantastic. I didn't know why he had to say that. Because for me, it would be people who are sitting there who have gone through trauma and who are still dealing with whether to have a conversation with somebody or not, are now put in the center stage where trauma is seen as something that can be resolved. So I went back to look at the life of Samuel. And in at least in 3 different areas, I again, this is subjective. I'm not Samuel's brother. I didn't live in his time.
Go ahead. Because I think I know what you say, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
So, first off, you pick up a child, and child leaves the parent, and you drop. First of all, I don't think that child was 3 years old when I don't believe that. If Eli's children were something else, there was probably no one who was with Eli who would tend to a 3-year-old. So he was probably older, maybe 5 or 6. My opinion. And they take the boy to
a spiritual leader. Yeah, because it was a spiritual leader.
To the man of God.
Spiritual leader.
That area of a child being that hyper vigilant at that age to be able to hear voices, now the voice of God, and running to someone who is his Oga, his mentor. For me, is a form of, these are things that come up to people who are in areas of different trauma, because hypervigilance is not a normal thing that people who have a good upbringing would have. That's one. And there's so many things. That's one.
Yeah, because if we start on that now.
I'm pointing out the things that the question is in terms of the religious.
Yes, how do you think cultural and
then
religious reinforce expectations? Yeah.
Let me just go to the third one, which I think is very, apart from the fact that Shiloh was meant to be spiritual headquarters. This guy moved back to his place. He moved the headquarters back to where he was born. And I think that there is something there. Again, I say that because I'm a church person. We don't talk about those things that don't seem to heal God. I don't know the kind of God that we say we serve. If God allowed it to be something that was written down, I believe that every area, we talk about the spiritual a lot, but inside the Bible, we have issues of mental health breakdown. Elijah had depression after.
No! Let me go now. I'm not staying here. I'm not dealing with this a second time. Take me now.
So, and then we have the issues where I think that Samuel also had issues with his children. Because he didn't grow up with his parents. He didn't know what it felt like to grow up with his parents. And what he saw was Eli. So now, if you tell me that is not symptoms of trauma, for you to now publicly say stuff like that, for people who've gone through stuff, how do you want them to seek help? And this is why I say that, and this is just religion. Culture is worse, because culture from get-go shames you. From get-go, you don't even know that it is shame until you come to a new level of knowledge. When
understanding.
New level of understanding.
When the self-gap begins to...
When Rema happens to you.
Yeah. And then you're like,
so I think it's there. We don't need to...
So I have a cousin that doesn't speak to me anymore because I called her cousin.
She's what?
She's my cousin.
What are you supposed to call her? Sister?
So we grew up together. So it was auntie and all that. And then when my dad passed, she said a happy birthday to me, and I said thanks, cuz. And she stopped speaking. She said, "Eh?" And
she's way older,
about 13 years. And I said, "You're my cousin." I said, "Eh?" We've not spoken now in 4 years.
She's not great with English.
She is. Incidentally, she did study linguistics. But I had come, for me, at that point, I had come to a place that everybody bear the exact name, the appellation that, some people will say that it is not Yoruba to do that. We don't have, but we have words for step like Obakon. Do you understand? I'm sure if I was vast in Yoruba, I'm sure there would be a word. Do you understand? The fact that
you downgraded her role in your life. That's the
whatever.
From auntie is high now. Auntie to cousin. Cousin feels like your age mates. And you know how Yorubas can be with age. You bring her down from auntie to cousin. I think that can be part of the challenge. People can accept it. I started teaching myself how to allow people
show up the way they want to show.
Initially, it was hard. Like, call me, because I don't introduce myself as Mr. It's not part of my government name. It's not. Just call me Ola, call me Oluwaseun, right? Just call me. Initially, it was hard.
Yes, it was. It takes a real wiring.
Because growing up, even the 4-year gap between my brother, he calls me brother. Even now.
My immediate younger brother is it's not up to 36 months, but in between 25 and 20. Sister me, because they wouldn't let him call me
exactly.
So even if we're having conversations, there are places we'll be and he will say to me, "She," but my brother would rather use Tishe,
right?
Everything,
it's the condition. Yes.
So, but for me, and I sincerely, I really don't like. Then I started studying with people who were not Nigerians, and there's someone who is about 10 years, 15 years younger than me, calling a lady who was 65 years old at the time when I met her by name. I already me fed Lago. I was like, how? But then being in the media, we used to wait for our bosses to be guests on our shows because you can call them names.
Right.
Like Lekon Bawini, Lekon. You just when we're having this, I'm saying, hey Lekon. So the last time Lekon, so we wait. Uncle Lekon, I'm so sorry, but we did that a lot.
Right.
These are the things that. And I don't know if it's shame or embarrassment or the rites of passage as but I think that the things. But you see that religious expectations reinforcing shame. Let's not even go there because it does intertwine with culture. It does intertwine with culture, and because we've not been able. And culture is just the way of people live. It's the way of life. Yeah. It's the way people live. And when a person is seen to have deviated from the perceived best cultural norm, then that's where we have the putting it in silence, and that's why our culture is very silent. Something happens, don't speak, or even when you speak, be euphemistic in your speaking and all that. In this condition, it's gonna take a lot of things. So as we round this up, because of course we're going to just not talk, we're going to give some. That's what I do now. I give journaling prompts at the end of each episode. What do you think? What do you think is the most shame trigger in these days?
I think that would really be subjective. I think it would depend on background, your history, your origin. I think it would be dependent on that. But for me, for example, if I had to talk about myself, what would trigger me without even going very far is being broke. So being broke and somebody saying something that makes me think, if I had money, that wouldn't have happened. I think it's something that would trigger for me, which is again why I have to deal with that.
Right. Okay, so now for me, I'm protecting my mental health.
Let them protect it now.
Yeah, because it has become so facetious now. So much so that the people that truly need it and the people like you and I who are advocating it are seen as, just like you said, are seen as we're making a big deal out of nothing. Yeah. And because we have the vocabulary,
right?
We have the vocabulary for mental health now. Right. Unfortunately, the way that I'm protecting my mental health is going around now. It is further driving stigma and pushing people to that place where Brenner says the secrecy, the silence, and this judgment. Because then a person who truly needs to answer some questions can't say that I'm, can't say that I'm not going to be. So I can't even lie. It's beyond shaming. It's beyond embarrassment for me. It is. It's just like, no. Like, I go somewhere and I'm having a conversation. I say, oh, I was saying so to someone the other day in a Christian gathering. And it's like, I said, can God take this bipolar away? Yes. Has He chosen to? No. Am I going to enjoy it and make the best of it while leaning on Him to take me through?
Right.
Yes. And she's like, I said, I'll give you a biblical reference if that's what you're looking for. Paul, 3 times. I asked God to take away this from me, but He said, no, my grace is sufficient.
Oh, yeah.
So, dear sister, I'm seeing this as that thorn. And I am choosing to rest on that grace. That you are protecting him. Come on. That you are a Christian or you're a Muslim or even I hate to use traditionalist, but an indigenous worshipper, trying to find the known God while worshiping your known God. There are questions you want to answer. That you cannot answer these questions does not mean that you don't believe in whatever. I know where I be. I'm a church girl, just like I said, and I believe God through Jesus Christ. But don't tell me that, because, like you said, a lot of things, that all those corner things inside the Bible, all those corner things inside the Bible, that, language made euphemistic.
Right.
And we have taken literally are the things that are standing in the way. And things that are standing in the way. So, yeah. I don't withdraw. I don't lash out. I don't poo please anymore when I'm in that shame spiral.
Right.
When I feel like I'm speaking to someone, I'm in a place and they're taking me back to that place where I feel inadequate. I feel like I don't belong. I don't numb anymore. I just take myself out. I just take myself out. But I am grateful. And that's why I love mental health conversations. I'm grateful for that situation that made me feel not enough. Because then I know that my enoughness is enough. Yeah.
Why are you gonna be like that?
Yes, I'm asking.
Yeah, because see, I'm grateful for the conversations that we have. And my hope is that people who listen to it. So what I say in my writing is, I'm hoping that you don't stop reading and stop thinking. The idea for me is that when you're done reading, it tickles you to even want to think further, to either disprove what you've read or to see the truth in it and maybe find healing for yourself. And past some, if you're healed, people around you will find your healing. Right? Because your healing comes with boundaries. It comes with wholeness eventually, and there's no way there's just no way that you live in a gated estate that there will be all kinds of nonsense happening. Like, so once your boundaries are structured, once that healing happens for you, you find out people around you, for example, that you just realize that people that say I'm protecting my mental health, I don't leave it at that. I press. I want to know if it's possible that this person does, because if you say you're protecting your mental, I'm sure you're actually protecting something that you may not even be aware of. Right. So I want to know, do you know this thing you're really protecting? Is it,
do you understand
it? Because it can mean that you shut down easily. Right? There's something there. Why are you shutting down? Small thing. Small thing. You don't have patience. Oh, I don't want to be upset. No. So sometimes, it's not all the time, because I also don't have that energy. Sometimes I try to explore with them, right, whatever it is. But again, like you said, it's these conversations cannot end.
Cannot end.
Yes,
And we have to end this one for now. And so let me just leave you with some reflections before allow Ola close out. And this conversation, we at least we have started. We probably will have a part 2 of this, just when we have gathered ourselves and have more understanding of this. Let's move us from understanding or trying to explore shame now to worthiness. And the first thing that I'm going to say to you, dear mindful partner, is that you should affirm that shame is human, but you don't want to live in it, right? You don't want to live in it. You want to name it, and then probably find a safe place where you can connect, where you can share with someone who has earned the right to hear and listen to your story. That statement is packed, but I can't unpack it right now. And then approach with a bit of self-compassion. Speak to yourself the way you'll speak to your friend. And the journaling prompt for this week: 1. What part of your story deserves compassion today? And 2, who can you share your story with, knowing they would respond with empathy, not judgment? You can write it down, don't worry. That's what you're already thinking about it. Of course, you know shame is loud, but you don't have to be silent. Take it away.
We've said a lot, but we've not even scratched it.
Nah.
So my parting words would be that don't let what has led you to where you are lead you to where you can be, especially when it has to do with shame. That's all.
Maybe I should say a prayer. May you choose to walk inside. May you choose softness. May you choose healing for yourself. And like Ola said, when you're healed, or when you work towards healing, the people around you will be healed or begin to work or walk within healing too. Until the next time, be kind to the story that lives in you. Stop, breathe, notice, reflect, respond, and resolve. I'm Oluwatomise Oladapo. Love yourself, love your neighbor, love your country. Above all of this, love God. He is the essence of your being.
This is Mindfully with Tumishe, brought to you by Black Images.